What's up, y'all? Welcome to another live episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. It's your girl Dom, and if you are watching, y'all see a familiar face on the screen. It is a special near friend to my heart. He is like a little brother at times. He not responsible enough because he don't check in enough. Sometimes I looked at our text message. I was like, wait, we haven't texted since last year. This is
Yeah,
repugnant. Welcome
yeah.
back to the show, Jay White.
What's
Woo!
happening? What's happening? Yeah, my bad about that. Yeah, last time you were in town, and I guess Muzz was just busy. It'd be like that. I know when you get in town, you got to make sure you hit, see certain people. We at that age where we got to check in with our family and stuff like that. So I try to be understanding of that for all of y'all that don't live here in St. Louis. So it's never any
Yes.
like hard feelings or anything like that. So
I'm gonna try to do better when I come next time, and when
mm.
that is, I don't know. Uh, but I would like to have something where everybody just comes to one place, and
Yeah,
everybody you could pop in and out. I'll be there all day, and it is what it is. If you
yeah,
make it
for
great,
sure.
if you don't, no big deal. No
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah.
But what? Listen, what's been going on with you? Like, I feel like this is definitely, like the kickback, like the catch up.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, for me, it's just work, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff. The company I work for, we're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
Not to get too into the weeds with it or anything like that, but you know, in, you know, infrastructure, politics, development, that type of thing. So that's been like my focus a lot. With the, and I'm around. I'm around. Like now you start to see me at like networking events and rubbing shoulders with like people I would have never thought I would like talking to. Like me,
Okay.
Mr. Henny, but we keep them separate. We keep them separate enough, but we're
Yeah.
fortunate enough to know like a lot of our peers are in these positions to like make a lot of moves and make a lot of things shape. Whether
Right.
it is in politics or infant mortality rates and doulas and marketing firms and working for Google. Like I'm just naming some of our peers' accomplishments. So
Yeah.
it's dope to see us in these spaces, but also like we grew up together. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's dope. It's dope to see, and we really the unks and aunts out here. You know,
Hmm.
well maybe not you.
Hmm. I mean, no, you're right. Because I mean, it's crazy how these last 10 years have flown by. It's like
Facts.
30 went by so fast, and being 39, turning 40 next year. Like, people are asking, what are
Mm,
you doing for your 40th birthday? I said, I just want to get a job. I just
mm,
need a job. I got laid off last year. I
yeah.
need to, I've tapped into my emergency funds, and those are tapped out. So for me, I am in survival mode. And so I was like, I would like to get a steady job.
Hmm.
And I would like to be stable.
Yeah, facts.
You know what
Facts.
I mean?
You want peace and stability.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Mm,
That's all I want. And people like, oh, okay. I'm like, yes, circle back.
yeah, that's real. Yeah,
Circle back.
you're asking
Circle back.
about dinners and parties and get-togethers. No, I'm trying to make sure these bills taken care of.
Look,
Yeah,
because I'm like, whew,
yeah.
all right, I'm about to start selling feet pics.
Uh,
All right.
all right,
Okay.
all right, all right. And what's
Listen.
crazy is somebody gonna pay for it.
And that's
So
okay. Listen, you can't yuck somebody's yum, okay?
no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of yucking yum, I just want to remind everybody that I have a new podcast called Stone Cold Freaks with one of my homeboys named Darren, and we go through the motions of exploring sex, sexuality, spectrum of sexuality, meeting, and talking to all different walks of life. Come over there, get your education. and certifications regarding the realm of sex. I will remind y'all
Yeah.
again at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of podcasts, what's going on with you and Henny Nights? I know you popped out with an episode because you are the consistently inconsistent
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the realm I'm in now. But so for all of y'all that don't know or may not know, because I don't want to assume anything. So I have a podcast that I started in 2018.
Okay.
It's all a blur. But I started a podcast called Henny Nights, and it's essentially you sitting on the couch having a drink with your cousin, your brother, your friend type situation. And so I'll try not to go into the whole history of the podcast, but essentially
You
I
can
wanted
go
to
into the history. We got time.
okay, cool. So essentially what I wanted to do was um it started off with me and my boys, Phil, Elliot, Devin, and yeah, having four different personalities and trying to ring them all in can be a little difficult. But I still wanted to, kind of do something because I've always done something, whether it's throwing events and parties and things like that, or writing for blogs and things like that, being very much into the social media internet space. I still wanted to have some sort of outlet for creativity. And so I graduated from college, and you get that first out of college job. It ain't really about shit. Um,
Damn.
I mean, if you're fortunate and blessed enough to, make the proper connections and hit it out the park, then yeah, for sure. But for me, for this one right here, that first job wasn't really on shit, and so I had just kind of made up in my mind that yeah, I was just gonna be, a regular civilian, like go to work 9 to 5, punch in, punch out type situation, and be a single bachelor at the time, just figuring it out, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just for me, I wanted to do something else, and so
Yeah.
things kind of all started to fall into place. I left the job, that I was at, because I got another job. God, I don't know if you hear that.
I sure can, but it's okay. Continue.
It's all good. All right. So I left the job.
Shout out to the not noise, the canceling.
I know clearly they didn't cancel nothing, but yeah, I made the decision to go back, get my master's, got a new job, so stuff started to kind of like fall in place. But it was always something like I feel like I could still be doing something,
Yeah.
and so the idea of a podcast came to my mind. Shout out to my boy Brandon, partner B. He had a podcast.
Okay.
And it was really, really, really dope podcast or whatever. And then shout out to John LeJethro Jenkins.
I love him. I've never met him in real life, by the way.
Yeah.
In my mind, he's like my cousin. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, he's
John
dope.
is like amazing. And not to cut you off, what I love about people in St. Louis is when there are authentic, genuine people, and John is one of those people.
Facts.
And a few years ago, John hit me up and got me a gig, as talent on a Red Bull show, and was like, "Hey, I think you'll be really great at this. What you think about it?" Little did I know that my homeboy hosts the show, Patrick. Shout out to Patrick Cloud, and Tahir and I went and played this game show, and they paid us really well for a few hours, by the way. And so we did a game show. Smina was my partner, and Dreezy was Tahir's partner. So shout out to you, John. I will never forget that. I'm forever grateful.
So you'll have to send this to John, but
Okay.
So John, from St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? And so we used to go to the same gym on Umpsel's campus. Okay. And so when I was trying to like figure out what I was going to do, I was tapped into, like I said, Brandon Partner B podcast, and I was also tapped into Jenkins and Jones. And so that was kind of like the space that I wanted to kind of hover in or whatever, because shout out to, Dragonfly Jones, Tyler, and Mike and Jackson. But that was kind of like the realm I wanted to live in, where you could talk about real life, issues. You may not be the most politically sound or the most qualified to speak about a topic, but these are real people going through real things in life.
Yeah.
And I'm still in my mid-20s trying to figure it out. But these are my peers. Adrian. My boy Julian. Mars. Like the crew that I kind of hover around. And so John, kind of gave me like, yo, this is what I'm wanting to do. I know y'all, record on whatever. How do you basically do it? And he put me on game. He let me know what all he used and everything like that. And I figured it out from there. And so I was like, I'm going to do the podcast, after trying to work it out with my homeboys. I'm like, I'm just going to fly solo. And one thing I can do is make fun of myself and talk about myself. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got the first premise of the episode down. My first episode down. I'm going to talk about how trash losing my virginity is. Now I got it.
So both of our first episodes were sex episodes.
I mean, hey, like what's funnier than that? You know what I'm saying? Than not knowing what the hell you doing. Yeah. And so I'm like, I can make fun of me. I can tell my own story before anybody else can tell it. You know what I'm saying? So knock that first episode out the park, and it's still up. You can go listen to it. You can tell I'm a newbie at it. I sound nervous or whatever. I had a couple shots, but you can tell like as I started to do more episodes, I started to find like my footing.
Right.
Yeah. And so it took off from there, bro. And I've had you on the podcast multiple times. I've had a bunch of the homies on. I've had John on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I've had shout out to Chantel from TikTok. Grief is Ghetto. I had her on the podcast. I've had some really Winnie. I could go on and on and on and on. But I'm fortunate to have built this circle of friends, through the years. Like you said, 10 years, even longer than that, with some of the relationships where they will come and pull up and we just shoot the shit. Just have conversations or whatever. And so it blossomed from there, and it put me with bumping shoulders with people I never thought I would have. And now to bring it back full circle to like, my actual career in, communications and stuff, I'm able to tap those people that I built those bonds with over the years and bring them in, because like I said, they're in these spaces and in spaces that I'm working in. So it just makes sense to like, if I can connect, I don't have to be the person running point. I enjoy being in the back. I'll make the connection and step the hell out the way. You know what I'm saying? So being able to do that, I think the podcast it was a launching pad, for that. And so I'm never going to say I'm done with the podcast until I'm done with the podcast. Now, am I inconsistent? Yeah. Because I think I'm gonna start moving to the once a month model, because like I've always been somebody that's just been like, if I ain't got shit to talk about, you ain't gonna get nothing from me.
Here's the thing. I want to push back on that, because you do have a really great show. I think you just probably have to go into block shooting. So you take a day where you spend 4.5 hours and you record, and then you got a month worth of episodes. Or if you're gonna do bi-weekly, you got 2 months worth of episodes there. Like I've kind of switched up because of the new podcast, and I've kind of gone into the, when y'all get paid. So that's like every other week, y'all. I've kind of moved into that. Just because it's been so the work surrounding the sex cast has been so like nitty gritty or this or that, and that is shot in the season. And so now I'm just in the thick of that, and this is our very first season. So it's like polishing up or, but a lot of it I wanted to be done before the season dropped. And unfortunately that didn't happen, but it's growing pains. Life also happens. So when we go into season 2, I'm like, hey, by the time we drop, like the first half, we should be cut. The clips should be made, and it's scheduled out. And now we just have to focus on engagement in the second half, getting that executed. Right. So I don't know. I kind of don't want you to do one.
No, I feel you on that. I feel you with that. And then doing, like you said, the block style would allow me to post episode, because everything that there are shows where like I'm talking about something that is currently
Yeah.
happening, and you don't want to do that months down the road or
Right. And
whatever
you
if it's
can,
not
and
relevant.
yep.
But if
And you
I'm
can,
continuing to have the conversations, like just regular everyday conversations, that's evergreen essentially. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
um, yeah, and I've thought about that. Like, if I move to the once a month model, then that means I got to stockpile on the back end. You know what I'm
Yeah, because
saying?
it's a
Which,
lot of it's a
yeah,
lot of promo that goes into that, and even
mm,
the hard thing with doing the every other week is uh that long window to push out
mm,
content. It
yeah,
sounds great in theory, but
mm,
then it's like, oh my gosh, they still talking about that episode. So for me, what I've done in this time, like, okay, like, so my last few episodes have been live. So I use Opus Clip. I'll put the link up, and then it'll clip up certain stuff real quick. Um, and I'll go back, and I've been, running clips from the last three live episodes. So
mm,
that's been fun, and people will get to it when they get to it. But I put up a clip
yeah.
the other day where my homeboy, shout out to you, Ken Edwin. He's like, y'all be saying spin that, but y'all only say that to the dudes that y'all don't like. If you like him, he don't got to spin it. So I'm like, I don't know. And then, but so it's an interesting clip, and then it got like a lot of comments on it. It has like over 3,000 views,
Mm,
but it's like stuff like that, like, oh, I didn't, but it's you know but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
also something that's fun too. And you can always even pull, because I know you're just on audio. When you
Mm,
promote on Instagram, you can go back from old episodes and
yeah,
pull that stuff, and just so people can come back and see
yeah.
what you got going on.
Facts.
I ran Damn Internet You Scary's back of house today, because they did a live episode, and it was people in the comments like, oh my god, I went back and I started at the beginning of y'all podcast, and and now I'm like, I've halfway through, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes time, but I think
Mm.
that's the thing, because you don't want people to forget you exist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm fortunate enough to like um not saying like I'm the biggest podcast in St. Louis, because that's never been the case. But I think I've been fortunate enough to build something where people can circle back
Yeah.
to the much older stuff, because I get the numbers every week, with the audio being, predominantly audio. I started to
Yeah.
venture into the video, and I like it, and people seem to respond better to the video stuff for
Yeah.
sure. Which I'm going to do. That's another part of it, doing more of that.
Well, you got a
But
platform. It's here.
yeah,
Use
yeah,
it.
yeah. But I think I built it up enough where, and have so many episodes where you can go back and listen
Yeah.
to the older stuff, because I get the numbers and I'm like, I obviously I haven't put anything out in a month, but then it'll be the numbers from the past week will be up in the hundreds, and I'm like, but it's people going back and listening to the even older stuff, like stuff from like 2019 and 2020 and stuff like that. And so I'm super fortunate enough to, have built that and built something
Right.
where they would go back and just listen to the old stuff, because they could not,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could choose not to, you know what I'm
That's true.
saying? But I don't care if it's 5, 10 to 500 people, whenever that weekly status comes through to my email, from the hosting website, and it said this amount, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
It's still, like I said, evergreen content. So,
Yeah. I what I want to do more is focus on pushing audio side of things, and
mm,
pushing just my podcast is in general, because you like we talk about how consistency builds greatness, right?
mm.
And I'm inconsistent like that too, and I get overwhelmed with social media. And I be
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay, all right, I need a break,
Yeah.
and considering that, one of my other gigs is focused on the social side of things. So
Mm,
it's like cutting up clips. Like telling somebody like just now, I'm like, yo, Pat, like, we said this tomorrow, so I thought it was gonna be tomorrow. But hey, when I get done with my recording, I hop in and go to edit. That nap is
Mm,
gonna have to wait. I might
mm-hmm.
not get a nap today. And that's okay. But I'm also in the space of like getting better with my time management. And so even
Mm,
now, my mom asked me to do some work for her. And I was like, hey, what does that look like? Because
mm,
I want to make a schedule in this downtime that I have,
mm,
so I can maximize my time.
mm,
And so I want to be able to put you under personal work, and then I can go and spend the rest of my day, doing stuff for Stone Cold Freaks and Thick
mm-hmm.
Threads and whatever else I have to do. So whatever that looks like, I'm like, if it can fit in this window, is it's not a problem. But I can't wait on you to say, oh, I have to read something. No, I don't. And it needs to fit in this particular window.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. But I want to give you your props because I want to let you know that seeing you do your podcast, along with like a couple friends, pushed me forward to do my podcast because I called you and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
how I do this? And he was like, well, GarageBand. And then I'm like, so what I do? And he's like, you do this, you do that. And I'm like, okay. And
Right.
so, and I was calling you a lot. I was like, I don't think I remember or whatever,
Mm,
and then you were, like you said, we were on my first episode, and just that was really, I was honored to have you and my homegirl Yanni. Yanni disappeared off the face of the earth, so we check in every
she
once in a
pop
while.
in there. Yeah, I was about to say
She
she
pop
pop up every
in,
once in a while. Yeah,
pop in and
yeah.
pop out, and I love that she left LA. I think she's in DC, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
But I think the cool thing about this, no matter how big or small we think we are, there's always somebody watching. And
yeah,
you're always, encouraging somebody. You like inspire somebody. And
yeah.
so I'm like, while I'm talking about John, I want to talk about you because I was like,
Mm,
I could do, you know, I think I
yeah.
could do this. And then, because I have been wanting to do something, but I just didn't know what it looked like. And so that first
Mm,
go round of like learning how to do things like Vernon and I had a podcast together. Then my sister and I had a podcast. And then I was like, like you said, I still want to do this, but I can do it by myself. And I, like you said, I'm a storyteller. And
mm,
so being able to connect with the day-to-day person, having just random conversations, has been very therapeutic for me.
facts.
And I know my cousin called today. He was like, "Oh, but you got on a podcast and they're really good." Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "I don't understand how yours isn't doing this, and you got girl." I said, "It doesn't matter." I said because people love chaotic things because their lives are a certain way. I'm trying to
Mm.
bring peace into people's lives.
Right, right, right.
Like it is cool to have like those moments. Like we have a clip from Stone Cold Freaks where our most viewed clip, we just started at the end toward, what was that, July? Um and the clip is me, it's 118,000 views on this
Mm-hmm.
clip where I said, hey man, I tell my homegirls, if you get the opportunity to sleep with an older man, sleep with an older man. Who no?
Right.
Who knew? No cuss words, straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
straight to the point, that it would cause such a frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's things like that. But I'm like, these are teachable moments. And somebody, the majority of the engagement is coming from Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, and because I mentioned something about, old men, they're not the
That's the
podcast
demo.
bros.
Yeah, that's the
They're
demo.
not red pill. Oh my God. Somebody was
Yeah.
like, she's not young. And I'm like, and neither are you. And it looks like you got like 3 or 4 kids that you need to be tending to instead of being all up in these commas upset.
Right, right, right.
But I think that is the goal. Like I'm like you in that sense, where I want to tell stories. I want to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
What we can see is a lot of broken, damaged people. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great people that we connect with and talk about whatever. Like you said, it can be current events or evergreen things. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people want to be heard.
Yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
so And I want you to be heard in a positive light,
Yeah, facts,
not busting niggas'
facts,
windows.
facts, facts. And I that was a big like point that I wanted to drive home when I was, in the early stages too of like, of course, with the racial divide in this company in this country,
Oh,
companies,
no,
it don't matter. It's all
you didn't
over.
speak out of turn. You know what you said.
Yeah, and companies and country in this country or whatever, where black people are targeted,
Hmm.
systemically, economically, all that stuff. And so, while we didn't have the terms and everything back then, because as you get older, you learn things and you process things and cognitive dissonance, as you will. If you know better, you do better. But subconsciously, putting all my people, all the homies and stuff on the podcast allowed them a space to, tell their stories before somebody else tried to tell it for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is what I dealt with or going through, or this is my entrepreneur journey, or this is my sex positive journey, or this is my journey to becoming a doula or becoming a dad or battling an illness. It was all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely, like you said, storytelling, but allowing people, like you said, who otherwise may not have had a platform of their own to come on and
Yeah.
say that or share, it opened the floodgates. And then, like you said, it is therapy in a certain extent. I do look at the early episodes of I was processing a lot. I was processing of navigating dating and losing, key members of my family and trying to find my identity and wanting to do better. Not
Yeah.
saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but wanting to be a better man, wanting to be a better friend, wanting to be a better son, like navigating all of these
Yeah.
spaces, or if from that to talking about my first time taking an edible, what I'm saying? Like it's not a
And wasn't
monolith.
it was wait, hold on. Was that time out here because we was all supposed to hang out and then y'all was dead to the world?
No, well, shoot, I shouldn't say my first time taking an edible, but that my first time. That might technically be my first time, but that's not the time I talked about.
Yeah, because y'all left me
Yeah,
hanging
we
on
were
the
stuck. Yeah, we were stuck. Yeah, we were stuck. We
that
went back to the
that Cali fish
Airbnb.
is different.
Hey man, went back. We also went up to Runyon that day too.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So we did that, and then walking around, because we were staying in West Hollywood, I believe,
Yeah.
and yeah, then we did that, and like nigga, we woke up. It was late. And niggas was just stuck. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. We were supposed to get out, get active, and shit like that, and it just ain't happened. So technically, that might have been the first time I have done it. But again, talking about myself, I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And the cool thing is the journey, right? And I think about from when I started to now, and just even just navigating relationships as a
hmm,
whole. We heard all of that, by the way.
hmm.
I don't think you got the no. I don't think your earplugs are on, but that's cool. Ain't nobody tripping.
Right.
I was like, what was that? Did he clap fucking knuckles? Is one of the things I learned throughout the course, especially these last few years, is like as showing up as the best version of yourself. And when you talk about, doing the work, unlearning certain things, because we've, especially as Black people, we have got a lot of unlearning to do.
Mm,
And being able to be still to hear myself and to process things. And I have a
mm,
girlfriend that makes fun of me simply because she's like, dang, you like being at home, you like being by yourself. I said, I don't have time sometimes to for the outside noise. Like, in order to move ahead, I
mm,
have to block that out. And so I have to be able to be comfortable with myself. I do a lot of
mm,
things by myself. I go to movies by myself.
mm,
Like I'm cooking, dancing in the kitchen. I'm having a Beyonce party in this house, but I'm by
right.
myself, and I spend a lot
Mm,
of time with my family. I'll, go watch the kids or whatever. But outside of that, I don't have time for that. And I
mm,
think part of it too is just, figuring out what next looks like in this journey. Especially being a creative and uh how I realized once I got laid off how I didn't like corporate, or
Mm-hmm.
at least how that corporate looks through that lens, because I'm a creative. And even growing up, how I learned, I was a hands-on person. I couldn't, routine, though I like routine. Um and I like, getting that consistent check. I was like, what can I do that allows me to be creative in the workspace? And so, kind of maybe venturing to maybe some sort of agency that they do like a lot of collabs with other brands when they have live events. Like I do a lot of brand ambassador work,
Mm-hmm.
and I work a lot with this particular agency, and I keep trying to pitch. I'm like, y'all should just give me a job, because y'all missing stuff from the operational standpoint that y'all don't ever think about. That's like
Mm-hmm.
every event is something. And I'm like, and I don't understand how these questions are not being asked, right?
Right.
So maybe something like that. But for me, it's, I want to ultimately get like all my podcasts like monetized.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to bring in that audience. What does that look like? Because this is stuff that I would love to do. Should something got to pay for that degree? I'm
Right.
broadcasting. I'm rebroadcasting now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's like, what does that look like?
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that's part of it. But we learn so much about ourselves in doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah. For sure, stepping out of that comfort zone. But you deserve your flowers too, because like I said, you moved out to the West Coast. You were like, hey, I got ambitions and dreams that unfortunately here in the city were non-existent. They're a little hard to come by, but with a lot of the arts and things like that,
yeah.
um, that's kind of more prevalent now, more so than it was back then, probably when you moved. But yeah, you moved out there on a mission, and you hit the ground running, as I like to say, pound the pavement. And like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I looked up and saw you with Pat or to hear. And these are people that like I follow on social media and like indulge in
Yeah.
their content as well. So like, oh shit, my sis out there rubbing shoulders, bushing, shaking hands and making deals with people whose content back at the crib I'm looking at. And so like just to see that again, that's a story in itself that needs to be
Yeah.
told. You know what I'm saying? And these are the platforms you producing the platform for yourself whenever you're ready, to talk about that, and you might have already, you can talk about that. Or
Yeah.
you can tap
Yeah.
Pat, or you can tap somebody and be like,
I
hey,
know who
what's
knew
up?
that Pat would be my boss. Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny, and I guess because I just look at people like people,
Mm,
it never
yeah.
crosses my mind. I'm like, oh, that's
Mm,
just my friend,
right,
or
right, right.
yeah, So I don't look at it like that. And so, I've never actually stopped to take a moment to bask in that, like that
Mm,
blessing, being able to be connected like that, because
yeah.
it never crosses my mind. It's
Mm,
someone, my little cousin was like, oh my God, the roast me guys? And I'm like, huh? And
yeah.
he was
Facts.
like,
Facts.
roast me, the guy that hosts Post Me, Patrick. And I was like, yeah, that's my friend. And he's like, oh my, I cannot believe that. And I was just like, I don't know which one to call
And
him.
I
I don't,
and I
I
be at my
confused.
desk dying at it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I've never seen an episode. Never seen an episode.
funniest shit ever.
I've seen clips of it, but I've never seen an episode. When they asked me to come on Damn Internet You Scary, and this was during COVID, and when Pat texted me about it, I was like, what the fuck is Yussel? And I was like, maybe he had a typo. And I was like, what is this? And so when I text my homegirl, I was like, what's this? She was like, go, that's Damn Internet You Scary. I was like, oh,
Hey
sure.
man.
And I didn't know, hadn't watched the episode, went back and started watching it. And I was like, ah, okay, this is cool. This is cool. Cause I
Exactly.
just, so,
Exactly. Exactly.
yes, I just didn't know. But, I
Hey.
think, but one of the things I, is crazy, because, like having those connections and meeting people, you know, certain things happen. So last year did a short, and I'll have to send you the link, where I worked with Bentley Evans. And Bentley Evans is responsible. He was executive produced and writing on Martin, Jamie Foxx show. So like a lot of our favorite shows, and he does a lot of stuff now independently, but he's in charge of the Vernell Hill show.
Okay.
That's coming out on Paramount for
Mm-hmm.
guys. Y'all know that's Tommy Davidson from
Martin,
that
right.
character. And so his like right hand is I've started to develop a relationship with her, but she hit me up to do this experience last year, and we did a short, and I've just finished editing it because they gave me the raw file.
Oh, okay.
And but I've shot a few things with them. I'm in a movie that's on Prime. I have a scene in this Cotty's movie, and Bentley produced it, called Do You See Her? It's an independent horror film. I would say it's more thriller, but it's really
Okay.
good. And so y'all girl is on TV on that one. And I did another project with them earlier this year. And I'm gonna do some background work for Cotty and Tahir and Pat. They're doing something that's really cool for JWhite next week.
Okay.
But yeah, but for me, it's like getting more into my acting bag.
Right.
Cause your girl, I mean,
you got some chops.
I might.
Hey,
You know.
while you getting your acting chops, I would like to audition for a role in The Lesbian Homie, por favor.
So about that.
So that's my shit.
Okay.
And so
I did a pitch for Ken. I said,
okay.
I know it's Big Ja, but can you? So they were at DreamCon, and then actually Ja ends up coming into the screen because he came back, and I was like, I put in my pitch, because I want to be like a matter, I run the lesbian.
Okay.
Things like that. So
okay. That's wild.
Yeah, because y'all always used to seeing me a certain way, which I get, because it's funny because Persephone, well, people always think that she's a lesbian in real life.
Right.
And she's like, girl, you don't know how many like studs, lesbians are in my DMs, and I am not gay.
Yeah. The line between a character and who you really are. Life. But like, I mean, I guess you would, like, if you follow them on social media, I'm speaking from St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? I don't think any of them are, but yeah, I didn't think so. Cause I'm pretty familiar with like all of them in the show to a certain extent. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think but they play the part so fucking well though. Like, you especially, and you can tell the growth over the past seasons. Like every Tuesday I was locked in. I pull up fucking Tubi and watching, Lesbian Homie while I'm doing work and stuff like that. So yeah, I need a spot.
But on top of that, I want to speak this. I really want to work with Kev on stage. I really want to be in something with Kev on stage. They had, when he had his app, they had a newsroom show, and I was like, please, I was like, Tony, please let me know if it's coming. I want to somehow connect with Kev, and I know Kev, but we're not like friends. I am with, Pat, Tony, to hear or anything like that. But I'm like, make me a field anchor.
Yeah, something.
It's all improv. I got you. I can do this because I did it in real life. That's something I would love to do. And my friends see me, they're like, "Oh my God, have you seen Kev's show about the therapy show?"
Yeah,
it's like, I watched that too. Doing that, I'm like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "I want to do it so bad."
You would kill that. You would kill that.
Yeah, and so just shout out to Kev. Kev is just dope. Kev is the type of friend that, I want to be when my money get right. Be able to build and create stuff out, to be able to fund stuff, pull in stuff, and be able to look out for people and create space for people to showcase their talent. Because it's just so freaking dope. Every time I just be like, you that nigga, Kev. And I don't understand how people say negative things about him, because I if somebody says, I was like, dang, that must suck to be miserable like that.
Yeah, be a hating ass nigga like that.
Yeah. it's really weird. But Kev, even Melissa though too. Shout out to Melissa. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just how they care, like the energy, the space that you want to be around them, and you learn so much, and all of them. Honestly, that whole group, like even other comics, I've learned so much during, you know, COVID, that you don't have to wait. And BT was the first person to tell me that. He was like, "Oh, you like to do this?" He was like, "You all you need is a camera and a mic. If you want to talk
Mm-hmm.
about pop culture, that's all you need. You don't need all this stuff, all these
Right.
things
Right.
that'll come with it." But it was really just being able to, oh, okay, you're right. You know, I can do this. I can make it work. But it's just, you know, certain things. It's just like pushing through that fear or whatever, and just being able to get it done. You know,
Yep.
so yeah, everybody though, because CT creates really great content.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. So yeah, and I just cheer for them all the time. I try to go see them when I can. But your girl be
Mm-hmm.
sleepy.
You tired.
I be tired, and
You
maybe it's part
tired.
of it is, you know, depression, and that's okay. Mental health is a thing.
Yeah.
But well, when I get my money right, like Kanye said,
Yeah, for sure. We
it's
up. We up.
yeah, we up. But yeah, we gonna. Well, I don't know how we gonna get you on the lesbian homie.
Yeah,
What
I don't
what you what
know.
you what you gonna do? Are you gonna be a boyfriend, or you just gonna drop in?
I don't know, bro. I could be, I don't know, some little brother, job little brother. I don't know. You can make some shit up. I don't know. I just want to be a part. I just want I just want to sing. I ain't gotta be, doing nothing too crazy. I can be talking shit, you know. It don't matter. I
You the
just
little
want a
brother that
peace.
hopped in town for the evening.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And see what the hell he got going on and shit like that. Like, nigga, you crazy? Like, I don't need nothing too crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So are you wanting to get into acting, or is this just something? Ah, you just want to do this like one
So,
time?
so what's crazy? Like, I wouldn't say I want to get into acting because even it's funny we talking about like during the pandemic and stuff like that. I think everybody got into doing little TikTok, like little TikToks here and there and stuff like that. And for a while, I was doing them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I was doing like the voiceovers and shit like that. Like, I mean, the Diddler's in jail, rightfully so now. But like to reference it, remember when him and Carisha, well, Carisha, please, and he was like, Carisha was like, how would you feel if if I'm single but we go to that whole thing, but we go together, like
Mm-hmm.
that sound bit, and I would just do a TikTok to that, put up like I didn't have no crazy production or nothing like that. I put my phone on a damn ring light and just made sure I memorized what the voiceover was and just word it and then like put in the caption like a scenario. It wasn't nothing
Yeah.
crazy, but yeah, I enjoy doing that stuff. I just enjoy doing funny stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I ain't trying to be no damn like world renowned actor.
Okay.
But yeah, just off the cuff comedy stuff like skits and stuff like that. Like yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. I ain't trying to be a thespian. Like
You just never know what could happen.
that's true too. You never know what can happen. So let me not say I'm not trying to be a thespian. I will take part in skits and whatever comes from that will come. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Because I'm
just
like,
trying to
look
have a
at
good time.
yeah. Because like when you think about Country Wayne, just like how he blew
Yeah.
up just from
Yeah.
doing little, and he was ahead of the game. You know,
Facts.
now that
And,
verticals are a thing, and you know, black
mm,
we always ahead of the curve, but they'll never
yeah.
give him credit for that. But I remember
Mm.
it was too much, and then I was like, I now got to go back and watch this out of order. So now I'm overwhelmed in an
Yeah.
overwhelming way. So now I'm gonna
Yeah.
unfollow you because I'm frustrated.
That's content that I indulge in too. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little much. It's a little much. It's like it's all
Yeah,
over the
and
place.
you know,
But
and I, yeah, and I'm a girl that's like, you really gotta have the titties and the ass cheeks out in order to. But if that's how you're gonna get views, it's weird because then
mm,
I just don't like when some people sometimes in the comments uh like to say crazy stuff.
yeah,
So that's why. And I'm
yeah,
like, so now y'all body shaming people and you ugly. So what are we talking about?
Right. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, stuff that
Yeah.
you would never say to someone's face,
Somebody.
which
Yeah.
is, what all that is
Yeah.
essentially. Saying wild stuff, but outside of that, like fuck them. Like
Yeah. No,
they
and
not doing what
sometimes,
you're trying to do. So
yeah, and that's true. Like the other day, Tony had this post, and it was talking about Savannah James, like her experience when she was like in Spain trying to go shopping.
oh yeah.
And he said something, but he was trying to say Hermes. So he said Hermes or whatever. And all I said was air dash MEZ Mez. And so this dude he said, bitch, you knew what he was trying to say. So I was
Yeah, sure.
like, oh, okay. So now I'm gonna be petty today. So I went to his page and then I looked at him and then I just went back and I was like, so you pretty much, I'm like, you look like that, your teeth look like this and that, and you talking about in videos like women, if somebody keep on to approach you, that's very rape behavior, say you would lose it without saying you. I just went in on him.
Yeah.
And
You
then
had time.
and then everybody was like, well damn. I'm like, he started it.
Yeah.
I just woke up from a nap. So
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just delete comments and move it along. But like being a person that has to, part of my job is moderating stuff, like in going through and filtering things. The shit that people say, like I said, damn, you niggas is horny. A lot of people are. I'm like, sheesh.
Yeah, overly horny.
Yeah. I'm like, you need to go take a hot shower or a cold shower and just relax because some of the stuff, child, that I see is so
nasty,
disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I before we get out of here, I was gonna ask you something about relationship stuff. But I feel like if I ask you, it's gonna put my foot in my mouth about a recent conversation that I had with somebody. Because we had this argument, and I'm not gonna say it was an argument. This interesting debate about just relationships as a whole, but it was about this person referenced Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor's divorce. And I was so perplexed and confused by it. And he was saying something along the lines of, oh, I feel like him. I was like, what you mean? And he was like, he lost everything. I'm like, what you mean? And he was like, well, he lost all this. I said, I don't understand. Y'all not in the same tax bracket. And I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just really trying to make sense of why this is the person you've attached yourself to and why you're saying you're not going to do or get married. Yeah. And I was like, this is poor money management. I'm like, this is what this sounds like to me. I'm like, and having a better lawyer. And I'm like, because if it was, we don't know these people, so we don't know. So I'm really confused. So I was just like, were you like, are people really upset that Tiana Taylor got this payout?
That's some parasocial bullshit, like that parasocial relationship shit.
Okay.
Like, because people often project whatever they got going on onto situations and celebrities and stuff like that. And to your point, you don't know these people. Now, from what I understood is he was fucking around on her, and like from what I understood, like maybe there was some infidelity there, and she was, when you in that tax bracket, you'll do some shit that, normal people like, because I'm not taking a motherfucker back if, they step out. That's just me. And I wouldn't expect to be taken back if I stepped out. But when you in that realm, in that tax bracket and shit, you up there with sharks. It's different. They got different problems than what little old me got. So some shit might fly over there that for a normal person looks completely insane. You know what I'm saying? So, but all the times that ain't nothing but projecting, they finna come get my ass. They finna come get me like, this nigga's tripping. Nah, but but yeah, it's projection, and it's a lot of the shit on the internet now is really made up scenarios.
Yeah.
You arguing with bots, motherfuckers that ain't even real, and it's the same 4 to 5 topics being recycled and just
Yeah.
reworded in a different way. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's really
Yeah.
it. And so shit, that's part of the reason why I don't really be on Twitter like that no more, because it's just it's not, not to sound like an old man putting his fist up at the clouds and shit like that, but
Do it one more
it
time. Do it one more
no,
time.
but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's not like you would jump in on trending topics, and kiki, and we would watch shows together and comment on shows, have a little commentary, have banter and all this back and forth. But now it's just battle of the sexes, manosphere, fucking parasocial relationships.
Ooh.
But what can you do for the other person in terms of just monetary things? It is just the motherfuckers is depleted of having soul, nigga. Like it's just common decency. It's disgusting. So I don't know, man.
Do you think? So we talk about like the realm of bots and things that get pumped of us because of something you looked at once, right? I think I've gotten my Twitter feed down where I only see certain stuff. But I did have a friend today, a homeboy, that sent me this clip of something, and which was this girl, and she was like, whatever it was, her son asked her to recite something from the Bible. So she's like, I didn't know. So I recited the 10 Commandments. But somehow she went, and I don't know if he said something to her or whatever, because I kind of skimmed through a little bit. But the gist of it was that she came across like the curse of Eve, which was when God said that women would have, like labor pains, childbirth pains, all these different things that he was going to do. And then it was he said that he was going to make it where women, I want to read it.
Make sure you get the context
right. The context right, correct. And so it was this, because my homeboy did not respond after I kind of corrected him. And so it said, why is desire included in Eve's punishment? And so it said, the verse says, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply the sorrows and thy conception, and sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And so he told me to read the first comment on there, which was, I understand what you're trying to say, but the scriptures, but what the scripture says, your desires will be to your husband, not for. In this context, it is in an opposing force to his for him to rule over you. He will rule over you, but you will desire to assume his authority. The woman will never be completely satisfied with her husband's leadership under the curse. Of course, we can choose to live free of the curses, but this is the true meaning of it. So I asked, why am I in it? I did the Nene. Why am I in it, Nene? And he said, every woman I sent got defensive. I sent this to got defensive. You're not in it. I just thought it was very interesting information. What? So
it almost sounded like you're trying to weaponize this particular scripture to basically be like, this is why you should fall in line, quote unquote, with your man. But these people are married. You would have to be married, one, be a family, two. And even then.
So the girl cracked a joke and was like, she said something like, yeah, I desire my husband, especially if I love this man. But wait, but does he desire me? So that's what I was like, no, that's the real question. And so I said, but this is also why it's important for you to be aligned with your partner. Men also say what women don't want to do, but men have taken the time to, have men taken the time to understand and learn their partner. I said a lot of men don't know how to lead, but expect women to submit. And so he sent me this voice note,
Oh Lord.
which turned out to be just a little bit of misogynistic, if you will.
Mm,
And yeah, so it was just pretty much it saying, well, my woman is like this, and this is where we could disagree. But then I have to understand when she's trying to get soft, blah blah blah. We're
mm,
not doing this. So I just
okay.
responded and I said, hey, like, don't take offense to this, but sometimes some of the things that you say come across as a little chauvinistic and misogynistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I'm gonna break down why. I was like, you use the terms like my woman.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about women being feminine and all these things and how women should be resting in their femininity. I was like, but and he says like I shouldn't have to do something for a woman to be feminine. And I'm like, so
Mm-hmm.
you're coming with the expectation that it's just supposed to be when no work has been done
Mm-hmm.
for a woman to probably fully submit to you. I'm like, but some men look at women when we're independent as we're a problem. And it's like, no, we're just
Mm-hmm.
taking the right, like we're taking care of us. So like, regardless if you hear or not, the bills got to get paid. So if
Right.
I got to do it, or you gonna help do it, or you gonna do it, whatever, it's just what it is. But I was explaining to him that I'm like, there's a lot of conversations I don't have in my real life, and I think when
Mm-hmm.
I see these conversations like this, I'm like, I can't relate to it because the people that I hang out with, I align myself with people that see my value, and we
Yeah.
see the value of everybody that is sitting at the table. At the
Mm-hmm.
table is no, oh, what do you bring? Because we're community together. People see everybody,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. And so I was like, I challenge you. I was like, I think this struggle, this power struggle between men and women, honestly, have nothing to do with men or women. I'm like, it has everything to do with communication,
Mm-hmm.
and that boils down to people and their egos. No respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's real. I'm more so in line with you on that, especially if you are in or your relationship. If you look at your relationship as like soil, like planting flowers or anything else, like
Yeah,
if you don't nurture it right, if you don't do the things necessary to take care of it, that plant, that harvest, whatever it is, it's not going to come to fruition. It's not
yeah,
going to flourish, right? And
right.
so whereas there's so much of this talk about, well, I'm the man, I need to lead this, or even women with like, I need a man to make me soft. Like, you don't need anybody to make you do anything. You should naturally just be that. Now that
Yeah,
looks different for everybody, and like you said,
right,
that boils down to communication. What works for your partner, learning your partner, and then y'all go out into the world and try your best to thrive and achieve all of these things.
right.
With creating a family and things like that. But you're holding it. And I will say, like, a lot of the conversation around like misogyny and patriarchy and stuff, like, we got that, we understand that. What are we doing to move past that though?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
like that get the conversation gets, oh, what are you doing on your behalf to like not fall in with this line of thinking, or fall into this train of thought and things like
yeah,
that. And for me, it's just like, yeah, well, you have to have conversations. All the conversations aren't going to be happy, and I tell this to Eric all the time. All of our conversations, aren't going to be sunshine and rainbows. We're going to have some difficult talks. We may not agree, and that's cool. That
mm-hmm.
don't mean I love you any less. That don't mean I'm
Right.
like, fuck you. You need to fall in line with me, or like, this nigga here think he da da da. It's nothing like that. We just come from two different backgrounds and have two different perspectives on it, and then we'll figure out how to move. There is compromise there. Compromise is a part of any relationship, but then you figure out that's not like a death nail to your relationship, though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, you figure it out and you move forward, so long as you're or have the same kind of moral compass
Yes.
about your
Yes.
boundaries and what you will accept. Like, if you are somebody that's like, hey, I'm working all day, I would like to come home to to something, you communicate that, but you don't be like, well, if you don't do this, you can't be my woman. There are plenty of women out there that will fall in line with that.
Yeah.
Go find that or whatever. Now, is that really a deal breaker, or is that just something you would just like to have? So
that's valid, right?
Like, yeah. But yeah.
But I think it's one of those things of what, like, I think it's an understanding one of yourself, but understanding, I think people also think that it is when we think about people being aligned and equally yoked. So like you said, moral compass, what you know, all of that. But it's also your partner being able to lift you up when you fall short. Like, what if something's happening?
Right.
You know, we talk about in sickness and health, like that shit is tough. Are you gonna be there?
Right.
You know, it could be, you know, like we can have all these good days and then these 10 bad days are like excruciating, you know. But it's how people show up for you. How do people really, really balance things out? Like, you want a partner that brings balance to your life.
Facts.
Not where like it's like, you know. And what I was trying to get him to understand, I was like, you know, when we think about the text, like the biblical text, I said a lot of stuff is outdated. If we could keep it a being, I said, and let's not forget that there are hundreds of books that they've cut out the Bible. So what is that about? I was like, but each relationship, we think relationships are one size fit all, and they're not. Like, each relationship is different, and you have to do what works for you and not let outside noise and people come in and dictate your relationship. And so, like, I have my friend that's going through a divorce, or they're about to file, whatever. You know, that was one of the things that I was like explaining to him. I was like, you know, you didn't take your time, and this is how you're here. I was like, a lot of men, y'all are box checkers. So you got the job, you got the car, you got the money, you did it. You got all of these things, your ducks in a row, and then all you need is the girl. And you rushed, and you ignored red flags, and you continue to pass go and collect $200, and now we're here. And so I was like, I challenge you to move forward in this. You learned a lesson about taking your time, and you're older, so I get it, like that you're rushed. I'm like, but being able to be still and discern and decipher if somebody is going to really be a great partner for you. The sex might be good, they might have a fat ass and big titties, that's great, that's cool. Is that going to, let me reword this. How does that look in the next few years from now?
Right.
Is there something more to her than that? And I felt like, you know, when I was having a conversation with my homeboy this morning, I'm like, when he kept saying my woman, I was like, you can't say my woman and then say things like this is how things are supposed to be when you are not even using the proper verbiage. I'm like, you talk about femininity, feminist qualities, all this different shit, that's cool, but that's not your woman. You don't own her. So I'm like, let's take it back and let's reevaluate what we're saying, because what you're talking about has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Those are two different things.
Right.
So yeah.
Woo.
Relationships are interesting.
Motherfuckers throwing the Bible around, boy.
And I'm the last person, because look, I was really hoping this nigga was gonna respond to me, and I thought we was gonna have a healthy conversation because you started it. That's what I'll be asking y'all. Why? Okay, so now why did you send me this? I'm confused. Did something happen? Did we fall out? Because
yeah, that's crazy.
I mind my business.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he's trying to. What did he say? He gets the people going. Yeah, the Bible, relationships, go yard bags, and seafood boils. They get the people going.
Oh my god! I'm like, who knew? And I'm like, I think I just live in a different reality, and thank God that I do, because I've never had somebody ask me what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
I've never.
even when I was in my dating phase, even stuff like that, I don't ever think I ever asked anybody that, or like, what can you do for me type situation. Because like, all right, we already kind of circling around each other and kind of, giving each other energy and vibes. Like, why you here at this point. So like, there was no need for me to really ask that. That was never in my Rolodex to pull out and ask a chick like, so. Also, I wasn't taking every woman I was coming across. I wasn't looking at them all like it was yeah, this my wife situation. I'll just put it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was very direct and purposeful when it was like, okay, I think this person could like be, my girlfriend type situation, and then we would go from there. But like out the gate, I wasn't just asking women that, because I don't give a fuck. I can do for me at the end of the day. Like, you gonna jump on this ride or not? Like,
yeah.
It really didn't move the needle either way. So like when they talk about the conversation around that shit, it's just weird. It's weird as hell.
Weird. Well, I thank you so much for giving me a moment of your time to come back.
Don't say it like that.
I was like, dog, it's been such a long time. So yeah. So I'm so thankful that you stopped into the show.
Of course.
Chopped it up with me, and tell the people where they can find Henny Nights.
So Henny Nights, the on again, off again. No, just playing. No,
the
Henny Nights,
inconsistent
the
podcast.
consistently inconsistent podcast.
Tagline.
Yeah. You can listen to Henny Nights on any platform. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple, of course, Spotify. Anywhere you find podcasts, you can listen to the Henny Nights podcast. I'm gonna get back in there soon. I already reached out to the person I want to have on the show.
Okay.
And so it's just a matter of getting them on. So it's not like I'm starting from scratch out here. It's just a matter of like, I gotta put the time aside, we record, and then y'all have content. Okay. But yeah, make sure y'all tap into the Henny Nights podcast, and then JWhite the Prez on all social media. Like I said, I'm pretty much everywhere. I don't really be tweeting on Twitter like that, but I'll pop in every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like,
be on Threads.
Yeah, I definitely be on Threads. I'll be on Threads and posting in my Instagram stories and scrolling TikTok. That's really where I be at. But yeah, man, tap in with me, man.
Yes, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and share Whiskey Soured along with Stone Cold Freaks and Everyone Needs an Aquarius. And I will see y'all back here next week.
All right, peace. Yeah.